Hello and welcome to Impact the Borough, a podcast from the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce. I'm Brent Christensen, the President and CEO of the Chamber. Each week we'll highlight what we're doing to start and grow businesses, create quality jobs, and develop our workforce. We'll also check in with our community partners to share inspiring stories and important information from across our community. This podcast is brought to you by Truliant Federal Credit Union, a modern, mission-driven financial institution focused on the needs of its members, the businesses it serves, and our community. With 5 locations in Gulford County, including a dedicated commercial lending office at Friendly Center and a highly rated mobile banking app, Truliant makes it their business to help you grow yours. Visit Truliant.org for more information.
Hello, everybody. I'm Holly West. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager here at the Chamber, and I'm excited to be here today to share some updates from Say Yes Guilford, which is an organization that provides scholarships and support services to students in our community. I have had the pleasure of being a member of the Say Yes board for just over a year now, and I'm also the chair of the Communications Committee. My guest today is Wendy Poteat, the President and CEO for Say Yes Guilford. Wendy, will you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Say Yes?
Absolutely. Holly, thank you so much for having me on today. A little bit about myself. I attended North Carolina A&T when I moved to Greensboro in 1991, and I am a proud graduate, however, of Gulford College. I've lived in Greensboro most of my adult life. I have 2 adult sons and 1 16-year-old son who's at home, and all of my kids have attended Gulford County schools. I started my professional career actually at the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, so it's really kind of roundabout circle to be back talking to you on the podcast for the Chamber of Commerce. I just started my 3rd year as CEO of Say Yes Guilford. And over the last 2 years, the organization itself has become laser focused on offering equitable supports to Gulford County school students. And we continue to provide scholarship support to students in the district. And just a footnote to all of that, since Say Yes Guilford came to Gulford County in 2015, we partnered with Gulford County schools to provide thousands of hours of tutoring, college prep, financial aid workshops, and career counseling to students. And thanks to the support of the community, we've awarded over $11 million to our graduates. And through our partnership with the 100 private colleges, we provided another $25.9 million for a total scholarship impact of over $37 million.
So Wendy, can you tell me a little bit more about the scholarship model and what students qualify for that funding?
Absolutely. So when you are a senior in high school, our scholarship registration opens on October 1st every year. It opens the same date as the FAFSA. So you should be getting that federal financial aid form done and your Say Yes registration done at the same time. Our scholarship application is pretty cut and dry. There's no essay. There's not a lot that you have to do. It takes about 5 minutes to complete that registration. Our scholarships are it's the last dollar tuition scholarship. So we take into account your Pell Grant and institutional aid and that type of thing. But really and truly, it's based on continuous enrollment in Gulford County schools, and there is an adjusted gross income for your household that's taken into play for our public school model. And then we have a private school model where we partner with 100 or so private schools across the country. And for our students that make $75,000 a year and less, those private schools are offering free tuition and fees to most of those schools. And then our other kids that are $75,000 and above, we offer a little bit of a choice grant to help those students kind of cover any additional costs that they may have. Our scholarship model, we believe, is an equality-based model. Of course, we had some hiccups in the very beginning, and we had to come in and kind of change the model. But I believe the model changed in a way that it makes it more equitable, and it makes it so that we are helping the families in this community that really need the most help. With the way the model is set up right now, Holly, we are serving about 75% of the students and families in Gulford County that actually need this support. Our goal is to grow our endowment and to make sure that we can get that number of served up to about 90% across the community, so that we know that the students that need the support from Say Yes are the students that are actually getting the support from Say Yes.
And those scholarships are renewable every year, right, that you're in school?
year. So you have, it's for 4 year. If you're going to community college, you can use it as 2 year, and you have up to 5 years to finish your 4 year, and you have 3 years to finish the 2 year.
All about that flexibility. We love it. And I think most of us who live in Gulford County probably know someone who's benefited from Say Yes scholarships, and that's sort of the big flagship piece of what you guys do. But as you mentioned, another really important piece are the support services that you provide in local schools. So can you tell us a little bit about those and what kind of services you're providing this year?
Yes, our support services programs are really based upon us looking through a lens of equity and meeting students where they are and providing students that need the most support, the most help. We work through tiers that incorporate kind of a crescendo effect for our kindergarten to career success. In our elementary schools, our focus is around literacy and getting students to reading proficiency by 3rd grade. In our middle schools, we are focused on career and technical education to expose our students to the careers of the future. In high school, we're focused on post-secondary access and getting our Gulford County school students either to college or on a pathway to a profitable career. And then in our post-secondary work, we're focused on getting our scholars through their post-secondary journey. So we're not just giving them money and kind of dropping them off at the door. We want to make sure that they're matriculating and making sure that they are graduating from college and engaging in successful careers in Gulford County.
So in talking about support services, you mentioned that you guys serve elementary, middle, and high school. And I know that middle school is something that has been a focus recently. So what are you guys doing there?
Our middle school work is really focused on career and technical education and the exposure that we're given to students. One of the cool things that's taking place is every 7th and 8th grader in the district is going to have the opportunity to take an assessment called U Science. And it's really different than some of the assessments that they're taking now because it's an actual aptitude assessment as well. So not only are we asking kids, what do you want to be when you grow up, but we're giving them information to say, you know, you might be really good at this and you may not have ever thought about that. So they have these assessments to kind of help us guide them through middle school and the exposure and the different things and careers of the future that they may be interested in and didn't even know. The other cool part, and this is kind of my baby, we are launching our mobile innovation labs in the winter. And these labs are kind of a hands-on, mind-zone place where kids can do anything from coding to 3D printing. And we're excited about that partnership that we have with the Forge Greensboro to bring this to fruition for our Gulford County school students. And I have to give a shout out to Thomas Built Buses, who actually donated the chassis for us to be able to even make this happen. So we're excited about that work. And then another piece of the middle school work is a perfect pitch competition for entrepreneurial efforts. So we'll continue to give students the exposure, and it'll be kind of a Shark Tank pitch for students to be able to showcase some of their ideas that they pick up, we hope, through the aptitude pieces that we're going to offer students this fall.
Awesome. So I know we've all changed the way that we've done things the past almost 2 years now because of COVID. And one of the really cool things Say Yes did was a virtual tutoring program that it's been such a huge help for so many families. So tell us about where that came from and how that's going to look in 2021 now that folks are going back to school in person.
We had hoped that we'd be able to continue tutoring in person, but I think we have made the decision that we're going to continue to do the virtual tutoring program. It's funny when you ask the question, kind of how did we come up with the idea of the virtual tutoring program? It was really a brainstorming session. We knew that students were going to need some support. We knew that they needed technical support, but we also knew that they were going to need support around this learning loss that they were experiencing. We knew we had tutors. We had our service learning kids. We had our federal work study students, and everybody was virtual. And we were like, how do we make this virtual? How can we do something and implement this through virtual tutoring? We came up with the sign-up sheet. We came up with the different areas of support that we use. And we were really able to plan this out kind of on a napkin and implement it within a few weeks. That's just how my staff works. They're pretty good on the fly like that.
And that's so impressive because it really did become a really key part of Guilford County Schools' mission this year to kind of help their students stay engaged in school, even though they were virtual all year. So one of the reasons that the Chamber is really invested in Say Yes's mission is because education is a key component of the workforce pipeline. So can you tell us about how Say Yes kind of fits into the workforce pipeline and how what you do creates better employees in the future?
I think it's hard for people to look at us focusing on third grade literacy and saying, how does that impact the workforce? We all know that working kind of the education setting, from kindergarten to third grade, kids are learning how to read. And then from third grade and beyond, they are reading to learn. So if they are behind in third grade, that kind of dictates where they're going to be college readiness, whether they're going to graduate from high school on time. So we know that beginning work that we're doing on literacy in the elementary school is very important. I believe all of our supports focus on the necessary pieces to get kids engaged and ready for either college or career. We oftentimes hear folks talk about a skills gap when you're in the business community. There's a skills gap. And I don't believe that is necessarily accurate. I believe we have an exposure gap. And kids can only dream about what they've been exposed to. So I believe the work that we're doing at Say Yes and having a focus on giving kids increased exposure ties directly into creating the leaders and the workforce of the future that we're looking for in Guilford County.
Wonderful. And I mean, Say Yes has been around long enough now that you guys are starting to really see that. You've had some kids who got Say Yes funding in their first year as they were going to college, and now they are in the workforce. So do you have any success stories you can share with us?
Absolutely. We have scholar stories everywhere that you can read about, but it's amazing to me to come in now going into 3 years and we have this alumni of Say Yes now. And we decided we wanted to keep them engaged because they're going to be the people that continue to lead this forward, that continue to mentor the students that are current Say Yes scholars. So we've started an alumni network. And our two co-chairs, I think, really speak to the importance of Say Yes for this community. Our co-chairs are Madison Powers and Camille England. And both of these ladies are Say Yes Guilford scholars. Madison graduated from Greensboro College, and she's a school teacher at McLeansville Elementary School. And the unique part about that and Madison's story is she actually went to McLeansville Elementary School. So there's some wall art in the elementary school, and you can actually walk and see that art, and it has an imprint of her little hand from grade school on the wall. So she's full circle now. And then Camille graduated from North Carolina A&T, and she works as a microbiologist for Procter & Gamble. So it speaks to the exposure. It speaks to the importance of the program. These two ladies really personify what Say Yes Guilford programs mean to students in this county.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, those are just like two of so many success stories. Anyone who's listening, I would really encourage you to go to the Say Yes website and just click scholar profiles, and you can read so many incredible things that these students are doing in their lives. And there's a great series on the blog right now called Alumni for Education, which is showcasing alumni from all sectors, from all fields who live in the triad, talking about their success, why education is important to their journey, and why organizations like Say Yes are important to our community as a whole. So definitely check that out. So Wendy, Say Yes Guilford started out as a chapter of a national organization, but now it's an independent, fully local nonprofit. So what is the importance of community support in your mission, and how can members of the business community get plugged in and help you achieve that?
I think it's important for everybody in this community to realize that this is a Guilford County initiative, right? We have students from nearly every school in the district that we provide programs and services to, and we provide scholarship to students from every single high school in Guilford County School District. So with the onset of COVID and the chaos that it's created for our students, right now is really the time for this community where we have to double down and make sure we don't allow an entire generation of students to be negatively impacted by this pandemic. The business community can come in right now and say, this is important. I mean, we need the business community to donate to Say Yes for our programs and for the endowment of our scholarships. We also, on top of their treasure, we need their time. Businesses can allow their employees to be volunteer tutors and be involved in the great work that's going on. I think having a hands-on approach and taking a full community perspective on it is really the way that the business community can get involved and engaged and recognize that putting this work in on the front end means that you're building your workforce on the back end.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned fundraising, obviously, is a big way that folks can help out. You guys recently brought on Elizabeth Paul onto your team as the Vice President of Donor Impact. And many of our listeners will recognize that name because she used to be the Director of Development for UNCG's Bryan School. So talk to me a little bit about Elizabeth's role and how you guys are working together to increase fundraising efforts.
We are so excited to have Elizabeth on with Say Yes. I tell her all the time, you're the exact right person for this job, and happy to have her here. But we are actively working to build what we believe is a robust annual fund that takes people in the community committing to the effort we're making for students. We haven't really been in charge of our own fundraising in the past. We were fortunate enough to have both the High Point Community Foundation and the Greensboro Community Foundation kind of leading the charge for our initial fundraising. And we thought it was very important that Say Yes get out and start to lead that charge for ourselves, also working in cooperation with the community foundations as well. We know that as an organization, we're going to start strategic planning in the fall, and we want the community's input in that. I believe with Elizabeth being here, though, we're going to have the opportunity to kind of showcase the things that we're doing, and then using strategic planning in the fall to really start to communicate those things really well in the community and get some real traction around how we do fundraising moving forward. There is a survey that I wanted to mention too that's circulating right now. And you can go to the website and take that survey. We do want people from the community to give their feedback, to make sure they're sharing it with their connections and networks as well. I think it's very important as we start strategic planning for the next 5 years that we have the voice of the community as part of the work as well.
Great. We will put the link to that survey in our show notes. So if you're listening to this, just click in the description and you can take that. So if there are business leaders listening who would like to become part of what you're doing, either by giving financially or giving of their time, how can they get in touch with you?
So my email address is on the website, but it's wpoteat@sayyesguilford.org. Everything is on the website. You can call my cell phone, however you want to. We are really committed to the work that we're doing for students. We know that we need to look through a lens of equity to making sure we're helping the students that really need the most help. We want as many students as possible that qualify for that Say Yes scholarship to be able to receive funds from us in the future. And the business community really makes this run, because without that support and that community effort, it'll make it very difficult for us to continue as we want to with the mission of Say Yes.
Wonderful. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a partner with us at the Chamber. If you're listening and you want to learn more about Say Yes Guilford, visit sayyesguilford.org, and we'll have all those links we talked about in the show notes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Holly, for having me.
This podcast is brought to you by Truliant Federal Credit Union, a modern, mission-driven financial institution focused on the needs of its members, the businesses it serves, and our community. With 5 locations in Gulford County, including a dedicated commercial lending office at Friendly Center and a highly rated mobile banking app, Truliant makes it their business to help you grow yours. Visit truliant.org for more information. You can find all of our episodes on YouTube thanks to our video sponsor, North State. Make sure to subscribe so you'll get new episodes delivered to your device each week. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook @GSO Chamber. See you next time.